everyone, and welcome. This is Radzi. Thank you so very much for being here. This is I Am Awesome and I Own It, and this is day 4 of our 5-day program. Thank you so very much for being here. I trust you have had the opportunity to connect through to our 3 days. I trust they have brought about certain transformation and support and inspiration and motivation to go ahead and own your awesome and live in your true authentic power. For today's video, for today's sort of connection, I thought about really what is the one thing that allows us to feel brilliant, to feel awesome? What is the one thing that can really support and activate that feeling of awesomeness within our beings for ourselves? And my answers, I did that in a reflection, is to have a beautiful relationship with yourself. I feel that when we can create a kind, respectful, open relationship with ourselves, we are able to easily step into our awesome. And so today I thought about let's chat about what it is to create that beautiful relationship with ourselves. Truth is that we can either have the kind of relationship other people want to have with us, or we can actually create a unique relationship with ourselves. Creating a unique relationship with ourselves involves being open, being non-judgmental, being kind, being compassionate, being supportive, and just present for yourself. And I think that I wanted to share my top 5 ways today, on day 4, my top 5 ways of connecting that beautiful relationship with yourself. Because here's the deal: the one relationship you will always have, always have, is a relationship with yourself. Relationships outside of you with people will come and go, and truth is that the quality of those relationships depends immensely on the quality of the relationship that you have with yourself. So here are top 5 ways to create a healthy, strong, open, kind relationship with yourself. Number 1, listen to yourself. A lot of the times we do not listen. We are forever trying to create. Our focus is mostly outward, and we're not listening to ourselves. We're not listening to our needs. We're not listening to what feels good. We're not listening to what is connecting with us, what is resonating with us. We are not listening. I think a lot of the times we sort of end up in trouble within is because we're just too focused on the outside, just too goal oriented, just too dream and vision oriented, that we don't stop and check in with ourselves, and we don't listen. And that means listening to our intuition, listening to our heart, listening to our body, being very observant about our mind, and listen to how we're feeling, and listening to, of course, the intuition. So it's a mind, body, spirit sort of connection, right? So you're listening to your inner chaos. You're listening to how sometimes you're battling the fear and the love. You're listening to how sometimes life is just so conflicting, and you're sort of living those battles within you. You're listening to your body in terms of what it wants. Does it want rest? Does it want sleep? Does it want activity? Does it want water? Does it want air? Does it want more fire? You're listening to your heart, right? You're listening to your emotions, how you're feeling, and how you want to feel, or what you'd like to feel more of. You're listening to your intuition. You're listening to, where is my spirit guiding me? Where am I being led? Where am I being nudged? Where is the cosmic plan taking me? So listening. Listen to yourself. Listening is very, very, very important. Number 2, acknowledge. Truth is that each one of us is different, and we've spoken that about a lot in this series, that we're all different, we're all unique, and we have to acknowledge who we are. There is no use fighting. There is no use, trying to battle and trying to tell ourselves, I wish I was more artistic. I wish I had that ability. I wish I could do that. You look at other people and you get inspired, but then you look at yourself and then you beat yourself about the fact that you don't have that. So I would say acknowledge all of who you are, acknowledge your talents, acknowledge your gifts, and acknowledge everything. All right, so you start connecting within. Again, it's an inner connection, and you start seeing what's working and what is, who you are, and what you love, what you don't love, what gets you going, what doesn't get you going, what makes you feel inspired, what makes you feel deflated, and you really acknowledge this beautiful mix of the unique, sort of recipe of the divine that you are. So it's so important to understand that there are, I believe this, all right, and it's a very silly example, but each home in India, we make curry. Curry is very synonymous to India. And so we make a lot of curry here in India. And each home in India has their unique recipe to making curry. All right, if you go to every home in India, they make curry differently. The ingredients are the same, but their proportions and the way it's prepared is different. Think of each one of us as a different version of curry, of the divine. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us is different. Each one of us is a different proportion, different dance of the divine. And it's just important for us to acknowledge that. I think we don't acknowledge all the beauty and all the blessings and all the gifts and all the abilities and all the magic we currently hold. We do not acknowledge. So acknowledge yourself, acknowledge it, witness it, observe it, and say, yes, it's there. All right, so number one, listen. This is creating a beautiful relationship with yourself. 5 ways to do that. Number one, listen. And number 2, acknowledge. Acknowledge all of who you are. Number 3, accept. All right, that's the next thing I want to tell you. Number 3 is accept. Accept all of who you are, because you are divine. Accept the healing, accept the blessings, accept the miracles, accept where it's fear-based, accept where it is love-based. Accept it. I think each one of us wants to grow, and there is transformation, and of course life is about growth and transformation. Of course life is about moving through different experiences and expanding and evolving in the process. But if it comes from a place of unhappiness, if it comes from a place of non-acceptance, then you're going to carry that through the journey. I really believe that where we start, our step 0 is most important. If we start from a place of non-acceptance, then we carry that seed through the journey. We carry that seed through our process. But if we start from a place of acceptance, we just start from that place of ease. And we start from that place of grace, and we can sort of then lend a different energy to the journey. All right, so number 3 is accept. This is me. All right, this is my unique gift. And truth is that if we can really work to connect with our gifts and use our gifts and live from that beautiful, authentic space, we can create so much joy and happiness and wonder and brilliance and beauty in our lives that we will stop wishing we were endowed with other gifts or we were a different curry recipe. We have not tasted our own recipe. We're tasting other people's curries, and it's like, oh, I wish my curry tasted like that. I wish my curry tasted like my neighbor's or the person who lives across the road. I haven't tasted my curry. I haven't really enjoyed it. I haven't really discovered the flavors and the uniqueness in my curry. So a lot of the times I feel that we are not accepting, or, we're thinking that we're less, or we're thinking that we're not good enough, or we're thinking that I wish it was better, is because we haven't really completely sort of enjoyed our gifts. We haven't completely immersed ourselves in our gifts. We haven't completely used them. We haven't completely activated them. And so it's so important for us, and acceptance comes in that. Acceptance comes through the activation. Is that I see these wonderful gifts that I have, and I see what amazing things I can create, and so I'm happy. I accept them. If we haven't used our gifts, if we haven't immersed into them, if we haven't understood them, if we haven't gone through the whole idea of what I can create and what I'm capable of and what I can bring and birth, then I'm always looking at other people and thinking, I wish I had that, I wish I had that. But the truth is, I haven't quite spent the time to see what I have. So listen, number one. Number two, acknowledge. Number three, accept. And acceptance comes from activation. So the more you activate your gifts, the more you activate creation and immersion into who you are and your unique skills and gifts and abilities and the magic that you carry, the more you activate that, the more you fall in love with yourself, the more you are in awe of everything that you can do, and the less you want to be like another person, and the more acceptance there is in your heart for yourself. Number three. Number four, in creating that beautiful relationship with yourself, stop pushing and trying to be like someone else. I feel a lot of the times we are constantly, matching ourselves to other people. We are constantly belittling ourselves. We're constantly comparing and competing. Stop comparing and competing. All right, that is my fourth thing. Number one is listen. Number two is acknowledge. Number three is accept. Number four is stop competing and stop comparing. Just stop it. I think that even after the acceptance and the activation, we have this sense of, I don't want the other person, to get something. There is no such thing as competition. I think there is a certain ease and grace that comes in when I realize that there is no such thing as competition. Of course, the world believes differently. The world wants us to believe differently, but I would like to bring this idea forward to you, this idea that there is no such thing as competition. There is nothing. We have our unique path, we have our unique journey, we have our unique process and healing, and we're on that journey and we're on that path and we are on that process, and we're going to do what we have to do. And we're going to create that space and create that opportunity and create those experiences for ourselves. And it is not about competing, and it's not about comparing experiences, because our experiences and our journeys are so unique to us that there is no way to compare. There is no way to decide which is better or worse, which is good or bad. Or there is no fixed pie that it's either me or the other person. In this ever expanding infiniteness of the universe, there is no competition and no comparison. So stop competing and stop comparing and allow yourself to breathe, allow yourself to exhale, and just honor your pace, honor your space, and honor yourself at this time. Okay, so number one, listen. I'm recapping them. Number two, acknowledge. Number three, accept. Number four, release comparison and competition, right? Release comparison and competition. And number five is don't be afraid to take up space. I think a lot of us are afraid, whether it is our voices in the room, whether it is physical space, whether it is space in a relationship, whether it is space in a room, right? In terms of saying, well, I just want space for myself. So whether it's breathing space, living space, talking space, movement space, Don't be afraid to take up space and go for it. You know, we do this in Koya, where we basically do a lot of hips, and when as women we're doing a lot of hip swing and a lot of hip movement, we are sort of taking up space because we are moving front and back and left and right, and you know, we say this: don't be afraid to take up space. So whether it is your opinion in a conversation or in a room, whether it is your idea, whether it is your unique perspective, whether it is physical space, whether it is time, you know, you need your own time, whether it is, you know, a weekend, right? Whether it is, you know, you just need a room by yourself. So whether it's physical space or space in a conversation, space in a relationship, a space in your work, don't be afraid to take up space. I think if you can give yourself permission to take more space, I think you can really go ahead and create that beautiful and healthy relationship with yourself. All right. So we started this video with how can I connect to my awesome just a little bit more. You can do that. You can empower this space for yourself by being in a beautiful, healthy relationship with yourself. And you can be in a healthy, open relationship with yourself if you are, if you listen, if you acknowledge, if you accept. There is no competition, no fear, release competition and release comparison. And if you give yourself permission to take space, of course, being kind to yourself, non-judgmental, you know, not verbally abusing yourself, not feeling shame and guilt, they're all part of the package. They come in different ways as we do these 5 things. So I didn't kind of put them specifically in, but you get the point. Right, you get the point of how you can create that beautiful relationship with yourself. And truth is, the more and more you are in this beautiful, open, kind, high vibe relationship with yourself, the more you can step into your awesome, feel that awesome, live authentically, live from that creative, fiery space, live from that positive, you know, kind, amazing space for yourself and therefore for those around you as well. So I'm going to leave you with that on day 4. I trust it supports you. I always am looking forward to reading your comments. So do drop them below. Lots of love to all of you. I'm going to see you tomorrow for day 5. Till then, keep shaking, keep shimmying, and keep loving yourself. I will see you soon. Goodbye.